This is the Transforming Anxiety podcast with Kelly Hanlon McCormick, and today is episode number 249, The Neighbors' Dandelions. Welcome to Transforming Anxiety. I'm your host, Kelly McCormick. I'm a mom to 2 boys, a wife, friend, daughter, and sister, and I'm a certified life coach, yoga teacher, and soon-to-be mindfulness meditation teacher. I'm no stranger to anxiety, and I'm here to teach you how to manage your mind and your emotions so that you too can transform anxiety into calm, peace, and whatever you want for your life. I'm so glad you're here. Hey there. Welcome in today. How are ya? You hanging in there? How's things? It's all in there, isn't it? Good, bad, easy, tricky, beautiful, heartbreaking. Yeah, here too. It's all, both, and everything. Yeah. I'm really glad you're here today, that you're tuning back in to Transforming Anxiety, and that we get to hang out, that we get to have these conversations. And listen, if you're here, great. I'm probably needing to tell the people who aren't here, but something funny happened, it seems like, with all the podcasts, in that a lot of people, if you're listening on apps, people got automatically unfollowed from things or like unsubscribed from things. So before we even get started today, I want you to just take a moment to check in with this show and any show you love, any podcast you love that you follow, and make sure you are following it. Okay, that you're getting like automatic downloads, that you're subscribed, whatever it is, however they say it on the platform that you're listening through. I've had to do this on my own apps with my own podcast, and then I've had to do it with some of my favorites lately here too. So just be sure you're all set so that you don't miss anything. And I don't know, we've just got lots of good stuff coming this year. I want to be sure that we're in touch. Sound good? Okay, I have a fun one for you today. And this is a little bit of a lighthearted approach to something that's very real. This is something I've been talking about with students for years. And this is something I struggle with this too, like a lot. And I got to thinking about this, how we can kind of stay in our own lane a little bit better, how we can stay focused on our own lives, our own behaviors, our own wants and needs. So we're going to talk about the neighbors' dandelions today, okay? My intention for this conversation, honestly, is that we get some energy, that we get some control back into our lives. A lot of us are feeling anxious because we have the sense that we're out of control. And yeah, I'll admit, we have less control than we would like to admit, right? Than we'd like to think is possible overall. But we also have this weird tendency to just give up some of the control that we do have in our lives. So today, in this conversation, we're going to gather up some of our energy, which is a really precious resource, and we're going to get some control. And we're going to do this by talking about the neighbors' dandelions. So let's start with a little story. Let's say you live in the suburbs in a nice little subdivision, and there's this cushy HOA that helps keep the grounds landscaped and the pool maintained, and it puts on events throughout the year for all the families. Great. Right? They also have an office, and this office fields calls from residents. Things like questions about dues, or maybe how they can rent the clubhouse, and also complaints about the neighbors. The neighbors have a car parked in the street. The neighbors have too many political signs out front. The neighbor's yard is full of dandelions. So many ideas about what the neighbors should be doing. And of course, the ones calling in about the neighbors are always right. They always know exactly what needs to happen. maybe you see where I'm going with this. We like to get into other people's business, right? We are very sure that we know what's right and what's good for them and how they should behave and what they should do. I mean, we're always right about it, right? We can see it so clearly. I'm being a little sarcastic here, but I also know we really believe this. We do this with our neighbors and their yard, right? We do this with other drivers on the highway. We do this with our family and our friends, the people that we work with. And really, I mean, just standing in line at the coffee shop, we can see how things would go better if people would just do what we think they're supposed to do. I know, because me too. I am so right about it all the time. I can see it all so clearly for them, what all the people in my life, and really just in life in general. I don't even know some of these people, but I can totally see what they should be doing. So I hear you. I get it. And I want to suggest to you and to myself that not only is this, well, this is incorrect, but honestly, this creates a lot of anxiety. And it means that we take our eyes off ourselves. We aren't taking care of ourselves because we're too focused on everyone else. And this ultimately, first of all, it doesn't feel good, but it doesn't work. Not in any way, shape, or form. So, using this whole little idea of the neighbor's dandelions, I wanted to have a short and sweet little conversation with you today about why it's so important to let go of what the proverbial neighbors are doing and keep your eyes on your own paper. Take care of yourself. Focus where you can and where you have responsibility and power and control. So, first of all, let's talk about the other people. Let's just get this part out of the way. And we can just acknowledge here in the safe space of our little conversation, obviously they don't do it right. Right? They don't behave. They don't cooperate. They are not doing what they should be doing. Let's just say that. We can all agree, right? They are not doing their jobs well. And if they would do better, everyone's lives, especially ours, would be so much easier. So I want to just acknowledge that, okay? Sure, yeah. Now, the next thing I think we need to get out of the way is that we cannot control other people. Now, I know you know this, but really take a moment here. Let's be serious for a moment. You cannot control other people. Believe me when I tell you that if you could, if that were a thing, that is what I would be teaching you how to do. This podcast would be called the How to Control the People in Your Life So That Things Go Better for Everyone podcast. For sure, that's what I would be teaching. That's what I would be researching. That's what I'd be talking about. That's what we'd all be practicing. Yes, but we cannot. This is something to really sit with and to keep remembering to remember. Now, here's another related truth. This one's a little harder to swallow. Get ready. You actually don't want to control other people. If you could, then there's some philosophical logic circle here that would mean other people could also control you. And truly the only perk to being an adult is that you can do whatever the hell you want. So we get our own autonomy. Everyone else, the adults in our lives anyway, they get their own autonomy. We cannot control them, and we do not want them to control us. So even though we are so sure that we know what they should be doing, there is a big practice here in letting go and letting them live their own lives however they want to. Now, I recognize we could spend like a few years just talking about that. But for today, we're just going to kind of accept that so that we can get back to how this benefits us. Okay? Because it does. Deeply. I want you to consider a time recently when you've gotten really tied up because you think someone in your orbit isn't behaving and you want them to do things differently. You want them to be better. And you're just so consumed with what they said and what they did and how they're manipulative and sneaky. And it's just taking up so much of your time. And it's so distracting and it's so freaking annoying. Yeah? I'm guessing you came up with something fairly easily here. I know I can. I just get consumed here sometimes with what someone else or the other people or that group is doing and should be doing. And 100% of the time that I get lost in someone else's business, I take my eyes off my own business. Like, these are mutually exclusive places to operate from. I can either have my eyeballs on their paper and get caught up in what they're doing and saying and how things are going over there in their lives, and of course how it's affecting me. Or I can focus on myself, on what I want and need, how I'm feeling, what I'm creating and saying and doing in my life. We cannot be in both spaces at once. I cannot take care of my own business and be nosing around in someone else's business. Now listen, maybe someone out there is better at multitasking than I am, but I have not found a way to do both of those things. And believe me, I have tried. So, the cost of my trying to control someone else, of trying to figure out someone else's business, of trying to get the neighbor to take care of the dandelions, the cost of all of that is my energy, my headspace, my emotions, my time, my efforts. Yes, all of that. And arguably more importantly, it also costs me myself. Because when I'm in their business, I can't be in my business. Which means my business isn't getting taken care of. Not only am I spinning my wheels and wasting my time in their business, but my life, my wants and needs, what I want to be doing and creating and how I want to be living, it's like I've just hit the pause button on my life and absolutely nothing is happening. All while I'm trying to jump into the fantasy of trying to control something outside of myself to try in a backwards way and get my life under control or to simplify things somehow. And I start feeling the dissonance of not getting what I want, of what I need. I'm trying to control them. That's not working. I'm wanting and needing things in my own life, but that's not happening because I'm too busy nosing around in their business. So I'm left with this completely infuriating situation where I can't move the ball in their life and my life isn't cooperating either. And I'm working so damn hard and nothing is happening, which makes me feel enormously anxious. Anyone? Does this resonate? So quick rewind there. I want you to appreciate the full cost of nosing around in someone else's business, okay? You're wasting your time, your energy, your efforts, and your emotions. You also aren't doing anything to take care of yourself because you can't. You can't be in two places at once. And you're creating a fine mess of anxiety or stress or overwhelm for yourself because the cognitive dissonance of trying to do something, like control another person, that isn't working because it never does, and feeling the stagnation in your own life because you aren't taking care of yourself, oh my goodness, it's an enormous cost. And listen, I'm laying this out for you because I need this too. So I want to just remind you, you are not alone. We're all doing this. And I want both of us to be super clear on what the consequences of it are because we need to knock it off. See, can you tell I'm finally gearing up to get some stuff done in February and March? That whole like same year or new, what is it? Not the same year. It's a new year, same me, right? Finally creating goals and dreams for 2024. It's coming together. Can you tell? But really, we need to stop it. Let the other people do and say and act however they want, because they're going to do it anyway. No matter what we try and do to stop or control or change them, it just never works. Might as well put some effort towards accepting that so that we can get back to the business of living our lives. You with me? I think this is about as tough love as I get. But listen, we have to start doing this. Well, I mean, we don't have to, but I have found at enormous cost, the alternative kind of sucks. This is something I definitely want to keep close this year, this practice. The practice of consistently and continuously turning my head around from other people back to myself. From turning my head from nosing around and what they should be doing and refocusing on what I need to do for myself. I want to stop splaying my energy all over the place, trying to control and change people when I could just double down on me. I could make me the most me that I could possibly be in this life. And that, I think, would make for a very different and honestly much more satisfying way of living. Like day to day, sure. But also, I think about what the cumulative cost and benefit is to me here. Like, how much does it cost me day after day, year after year, decade after decade when I'm nosing around in other people's business? And could I create and how could I take care of myself day after day, year after year, decade after decade? Like, what would be possible if I stopped spending my time thinking about what other people are doing, trying to change what other people are doing, complaining about what other people are doing, gossiping about it? Any of this, even if it's just going on in my own head, right? Now, this breaks my brain a little bit to think about it, like what the cumulative cost and benefit of this, like what could I have done at the end of this year if I just take care of myself and if I just let other people do whatever the hell they want all year? What? Could be kind of fun. So, we're cooking on 2024, right? We're gathering ourselves up for what we can do, for what's possible, for what we can let go of. And I know I'm seeing this one everywhere. This is one I think most of us could use. So maybe try it on, right? See how this one feels. And hey, you want to do it with me? Should we all just let our neighbors grow dandelions if they want to? It has nothing to do with us. Let's just let them. And we'll use all the energy that we would spend calling in to complain, and we're going to funnel all of that towards ourselves. Just take care of you. Eyes on your paper. I'll keep my eyes on mine, right? I'm going to go all in on myself. And from a place of real care, of real compassion, of more awareness, we can show up more fully ourselves in our lives. And that, I think, is going to feel good. So, the neighbor's dandelions, right? Let them be. So don't forget, here's all the housekeeping reminders. You ready? Don't forget to follow or subscribe to the show, like I said at the top. Be sure you're on my email list. You can find that at kellyhanlonmccormick.com. That way you won't miss any announcements or classes, anything good and fun that's coming up. And something else I'm gearing up for, Mindful Mondays are coming. That starts in February. So text podcast to 816-354-1279. All of this is in the show notes. That's if you're in the States. I'm going to be sending little anxiety hacks, mindfulness practices, just little love notes straight to your phone. But listen, if you're international, stay tuned. I promise I'm not going to leave you out. Don't you worry. I think that's it. No, wait, one more thing. Don't forget, and there's a link in the show notes where you can find this. You can send me questions, comments, any other little tidbits. That's at featuredup.com/transforming anxiety. So I've heard from some of you over there. It's so fun because we have a place to directly interact with each other. So hit me up. If there's a question you have, if there's an idea you have that you want me to cover on the show, if you have some comment about something, I would love to hear from you. I'm all ears. featuredup.com/transforming anxiety. All right. I will see you at the same time, same place next week for more transforming anxiety. And until then, please take care. Do you have someone to help you with your stress, anxiety, worry, and overwhelm? If not, I would love to be your coach. The Fierce Calm Project is my virtual coaching program where we get to go in on topics like this one, and I can help you apply these lessons to your life so that you're creating your own transformation. We do live coaching calls, guided meditations, on-demand yoga classes. We hold book club where we read books your neighborhood book club won't, and there's lots of bonus content that I've created just for you. When you're ready to take what you're learning on the podcast to a whole other level, then come on over and check out the Fierce Calm Project at kellyhanlonmccormick.com/Fierce Calm Project.